Hey guys, Ningen here, bringing you another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video. And so we had a data download and the information is now available for the AGL Rose Goku Black EZA. I got up early specifically when I saw this had come up. The event obviously still doesn't go live at time of recording for another like 3 hours, but we now have the information right here, and some of the stuff is something along the line of what we could have expected, but overall I would probably say that we did not quite expect it to turn out this way. It's interesting, I was thinking about, I mentioned yesterday, they took everything that was really good about Vegito Blue and they tried to make it better. So Vegito Blue was always like an offensive powerhouse, right? Like he had counters, which was good for defense, but it wasn't the best damage reduction, and obviously nothing to do with super attacks. But he was so good at dealing out damage, and they did his EZA in such a way to make him really good at that. So Rose is kind of like, I hesitate to call Rose a support unit, because obviously when he came out he was the leader of the team and was a very good unit in terms of like attack power and stuff like that. So they've kind of upped his support capability, but they have made him a defensive beast. So let us talk about this very quickly. So his leader skill, obviously we already knew that, 4 key, 80%. You're probably not going to be using him as a leader. Maybe if you're newer, maybe Battlefield, I don't know. But there's just so many units now that will have a better leader skill than this guy for the kind of team that you want to run him on. So his super attack, obviously he did immense damage before and greatly lowered defense. He now greatly raises defense for 1 turn, which, as of course we know, greatly raises by 50%. So we've already seen from units like Supreme Kai of Time, who is a support unit who doesn't have ridiculously good stats. On Super Battle Road, even after 1 super attack, she's able to tank for decent damage. So this guy, considering he's going to have very good stats, being a level 15, level 140 EZA unit, him greatly raising defense is going to be very, very good. And so his passive, he still gets 100% attack, that hasn't changed. And then he gives extreme class, key +3, and attack 30%. So we talked about this yesterday. I was hoping that he would pick up at least some attack support. I was thinking it would be good if he could get attack and defense, but even just getting attack 30% is really good, because obviously that applies to him as well. So that does somewhat boost to the fact that his attack plus 100% hasn't changed. But then the most interesting part here, defense plus 30% with each attack received up to 180%. I mean, that's a lot, especially when you think when his passive's fully maxed out, 180% defense, and then when he supers, he raises his defense by 50%. So if he double supers, his defense is going to be insanely high. Now, obviously I'm very intrigued to try him out in game. I wonder, I don't know how his defense will go, let's say for example in the Legendary Goku event, when you get to the final stage against Int UI Goku, after super attacking with his passive fully maxed, how much damage will he be taking? That will be very interesting to find out. But with EZA stats and 180% boost plus greatly raising his defense for 1 turn, he has the potential to have an insanely high level of defense. And now one of the reasons why that they've done this, and I feel like we can, what's the easiest way? I guess we'll just bring up the Realm of Gods page. People were talking about this. So Global got the EZA first. I mean, it is going to come out on JP very soon, but something that people were talking about was this LR Rose. Now people were a bit worried, because if they made the AGL Rose EZA insanely good, which I mean I would still say is very, very good, but people might not want to summon for this guy. So they had to make it different enough that they would both be really good, but good for different things. And now one thing that we all saw in all the videos, because back when this guy came out, Truth made a whole series, because at first glance he thought this guy might be better than the fusions. Loads of people disagreed, so they did like a whole bunch of comparison videos. Now this guy can hit some insane attack stat numbers, but his defense is never particularly great, even though he has greatly raised his defense for 1 turn. Like, his defense would never be insanely high, but he could reach some crazy attack stats. So I feel like they've done the right thing to make these units still like different enough that depending on what you want to use them for, they do have their own specific uses. Because now this guy, even though he will be able to hit very good attack stats, is just a defensive juggernaut, as well as the fact that he provides the support. So these two still have very different uses. So I mean, I guess, like, to be fair, whales are going to summon for this guy anyway. His animations are really cool. I do really like the unit. Like, I would really want to have him. But yeah, they've definitely made this guy really, really good. And for harder events where you really want to have good defense, this guy is going to be very, very strong. So they didn't change the extreme class allies. We discussed that briefly in my video yesterday. I'm kind of not surprised. But yeah, like, any one of these teams that you want to run that has a large amount of extreme units, like even time travelers, because of the addition of the heroes characters, there's a lot of extreme units that can be run on that team. Realm of Gods obviously has Zamasu as the leader. We had the merged Zamasu EZA recently. LR blackened Zamasu. So that was another thing I mentioned actually in my video yesterday. So LR blackened Zamasu, they can still hit some pretty reasonable attack stats, but nowadays defensively they're not like crazy good. And this guy doesn't really do anything to buff defense. He buffs attack. He himself gets a ton of defense. So I guess an interesting way to run these guys now in the current meta is that whilst this guy, when he first came out, used to be fairly decent defensively once he'd super attacked, you pretty much are going to want to just use this guy, get him to super attack first. He can soak up some of the hits, and then this guy is going to benefit from having a really good link partner and then the 30% attack support from Rose EZA's passive. So one thing to bear in mind, his attack stat is going to be incredibly high, because 100% attack might not seem like a crazy amount when we have units in the game that get like 120, 150, but you gotta remember it's 100% plus the 30% buff on top. And then of course he is a EZA unit now, so Rainbow, his stats are, his attack is already going to be 17k, which is pretty high. So yeah, this man is going to be hitting some crazy numbers, and it is going to be very interesting to see exactly what he can do once we get into the game. Very happy for him to be back in the current meta. I feel like the big thing that we talked about was how we needed his upgrade to be kind of on the level of the upgrade that Vegito Blue got, because obviously Vegito Blue, the physical, went from being a unit that you never really used anymore to basically being one of the best EZA units in the game. Now, I don't know if I would put this guy on that level just from like what he does on paper, because obviously people in Dokkan always love big damage, right? So Vegito Blue, even though it's very RNG related, he can fire off a couple of super attacks, which not only will do a bunch of damage, but then he raises his defense a lot by doing multiple supers, and then his counters can do ridiculous damage because he's also raised his attack a bunch of times. Whereas this guy, whilst he is definitely going to be hitting some decent attack numbers, is more defense orientated, which I feel like some people underrate defensively strong units if they can't hit for like crazy numbers. But I feel like he's definitely going to show his value in some of the harder events. Like, I'm really looking forward to taking this guy into Super Battle Road and seeing how he can stack up. So the fact that he only buffs extreme class allies, obviously that means that unfortunately it doesn't really help out teams like Patara or Future Saga, unless you are running very extreme unit heavy versions of those teams. But of course, bear in mind his best link partners have always been other Goku Blacks and Zamasu units, who of course are all extreme. And bear in mind, when the 5-year anniversary comes out, we get that free to play LR that is the Zamasu in Goku's body, that becomes the first LR to get an EZA. This guy on the team just makes that guy even better as well. So yeah, he's going to be very good. Any team you can put him on that you're going to be running a mostly extreme based set of units, he's going to be like a good top pick for that team, because 30% attack boost, even though it's no defense boost, like that is, you know, the typical sort of decent level for a support unit. Because we have a few that do 40, we have a couple that do 50, but 30 is a very solid amount for an attack buff. So I think personally that he is going to be very, very good. So obviously, like I said yesterday, for those of you not aware, because of work, I can't stream the EZA as soon as it goes live. So I will be doing that later on this evening. Keep an eye out on the channel, because I will schedule it at some point, and hopefully I will see you guys there. I am very excited for this. Mine is Rainbow. I have a second copy at Super Attack 5 already awakened and ready to go, so we can get this man straight to Super Attack 15. And then on the stream I probably will try him out in a couple of events as well. So keep an eye out on the channel, and hopefully I will see you there. So let me know what you think down below. Obviously, like I said, I don't think many people would have expected this. They have made him very, very strong defensively. So yeah, let me know what you think down below. So that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been the Master Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. You can follow me on Twitch or join my Discord. The link is in the description below. And I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.